And we're on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coach Your Way show. This episode, or I should say interview number 11 in our interview series, What It Takes to Be a Coach. And today we have a very special guest, Charlita Wye, calling us from North Virginia. How you doing today, Charlita?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for accepting my invitation. Charlita is an HR professional, and she is in the process of creating her business, which is Credible Business Writing. Is that correct?
Writing services, yes.
Right, writing services. And I'll ask you all about it because I'm super curious about what you're working on in a minute. But I would think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Charlita, but an HR executive is kind of like a career coach, if you will.
Yes, indeed. It most certainly is. The profession of HR, of human resources, is a very vast profession, many disciplines. So as you said, everything from getting you into door recruiting to the in-between, the career development piece. And depending on which area you specialize in, whether it's benefits or maybe, I don't know, EEO fair practice, there's so many areas that you can delve into that it's a great profession, really.
That's
is.
awesome. How many years have you been doing HR?
So over 15. My career is much longer without dating myself too terribly, but I have at least 25 plus years of work experience. But my shift into HR came from studies in school, undergrad at UDC and Washington, D.C., and then finished the master's program with the University of Maryland Global Campus. That's with the HR specialization. So I was just always interested into it. Even before I was working in positions that were tagged HR, I was just trying to always find my way in that area, some kind of project. So
that's awesome.
Many years.
Tell me something. Tell me, how did you actually, realize that you wanted to be in HR, working with people, and if at some point, you felt a calling for coaching, quote unquote?
Very, very young and very organically. It kind of starts with your family. So, I had the mom and dad, and then also my grandmother. They kind of tag you as you're the entertainer of the family, or you're the lawyer, or you're the doctor. So grandma would always say, you're the lawyer. I didn't feel the pull on going into the courtroom to defend, but I did feel the legal pull on the employment side. And simply just going through successes with as everyone faces, successfully graduating high school, but along the way, participating in internship programs that led to full-time employment. I was finding my own success just by, being disciplined, first and foremost, being a good writer. And so family and friends would say, oh, well, you got this opportunity that turned into that. And how did you make that happen? So it was just people asking me to be the open book. Well, what did you write? What did you say? I wasn't as successful when I went on an interview. So can you help me? It was very, like, it chose me, definitely a calling versus I went to seek it out. It just attached itself to me, HR.
Interesting. So tell me a little bit more about these experiences, like when you start actually helping people, what that was like, and maybe some of the challenges that you started experiencing and learning from.
So what made me go ahead and decide to invest in it from a standpoint of getting the education, the foundation, to feel like I could offer myself to people as more than just to do it exactly my way and you'll get the same result, which is not always the case, but have the knowledge background to be able to confidently say, based on theory and practice, we can, if we work together, we can get a good results. It just came from those very individual or small group sessions where we would come together and identify opportunities that we needed or wanted at the time. These were, like I said, friends, family, fellow students, or colleagues that I was working with. And putting in the effort to create the documents and prepare for the meeting and greeting opportunities, the interviewing, and seeing it through to success. Mm-hmm. So what was surprising to me was that tingle, that feel-good excitement that when they won, I won. And it was just really celebratory. Like I had won a prize, but it just felt so great because I knew I was a part of that accomplishment. So that was definitely the feel-good attraction and pull. Now, the challenge would be the handling the disappointment, because, you know, every goal you set out to accomplish, you may not necessarily achieve the first go round. It may not just be what's ready for you at that time as you think. So the challenging piece would just be, I guess I would call it disappointment recovery. Mm-hmm. You know, maintaining the constant coaching, that, okay, this didn't work out this time, but what can we learn from it? How can we regroup, reapply, and get something even better the next time? So that.
I love that concept. Disappointment recovery. I'm going to borrow it if you don't mind.
Yes.
That is awesome. Tell me something. In your education, your long education that you have, which is phenomenal, right? Were you ever taught how to do that per se? How to coach and do this kind of like disappointment recovery sessions with your people? Like, how did that come about?
So the undergrad and master's degree, both of those were business degrees. So I cannot say with certainty that both of those universities do not have coaching programs or where you graduate with a bachelor's, associate's, master's degree in coaching. I don't know for certain, maybe the psychology program or sociology, but in my program, there was no specific like college course called Coaching 101.
Yeah.
It was just, it's something that, again, organically developed, and it comes from a place of compassion and just wanting to help people grow and kind of hold hands in that win once the work is done, and then it turns into the blessing that you've earned. So yeah, it really just the compassion, I think, lends itself to coaching. You have to have the desire to want to help somebody do it, compassion for it, great listening skills. And key, the important ability to be able to be flexible, adapt to different individuals, customize almost, because you can give the same advice that's 110% applicable, right? But if you say it the exact same way to every single person without the ability to help shape it into the mind's eye of the person that you're working with, it may not be received well, and they'll never get it. So you have to be able to just adapt in that way. I fancy myself the analogy aligner or the dot connector. Like, I'll take these crazy, very pop culture-esque scenarios and lend it to sports or music and entertainment and bring it home into the goal that we have before us. And then it's like, aha moments. It just comes together.
You're a natural born coach, Charlita. That's what it is. Because I had to read about this stuff, you know, like I had to like take time to do inner work in order to realize this thing. You sound to me that it's all natural in you. That's awesome.
You.
Good
Thank
for
you so
you. Tell me, well, you kind of like alluded to this a little bit, but I want to, still ask you the question. What is the best thing about being a coach or coaching someone to get a goal? You kind of like alluded to that, but I wanted to get a little bit more out of you, Charlita.
Yeah, please squeeze me. Let's It's the very best. So because there are many, of course, there's the aftermath. The aftermath feel good, but it's an opportunity for myself to continue growing. Because with each interaction, with each request for assistance, it makes me reach back to information that I may not have touched in a while. So it's a constant evolution of never stop learning, never stop being open to change, to growth. So yeah, it's twofold. You're working together to try to get that win, that trophy at the end. You have a specific goal in mind, but along the way, through the development, there's so many little wins. Oh God, I'm getting the tingles.
That's
Yay.
Awesome. That's awesome. You're a natural. You're a natural. That's why tingles and all. Speaking about growth and stuff. I want to ask you too. Who are some of the people that you look up to, that you read from, like that you get more knowledge from currently or in the past? People that you have followed and.
So books wise, or people that I follow, a combination of both. So of course there's Stephen Covey, oh goodness, Stephen, I'm sorry. The 7 Success of Highly Successful People.
Yeah.
Right?
7 Habits.
7 Habits. There we go. Sorry. And then Alan Collins. I love his blog. He's an HR professional that I stayed dialed into with. And I'm currently reading one of his books. Shame on me. HR Goldmine.
Okay.
Yeah. So HR Goldmine is really straight talk, kind of like this interview, which you can really appreciate more, because sometimes when you open a book, it seems over edited, if you will, and you're not really getting the juicy core of tell me straight chaser, how to win. So I really love that one. So
in your opinion, do you think that anyone can become a coach?
When you phrase it like that, no, because when you say anyone, I think you don't want to give the false expectation that you wake up one day and just say, I'm a coach, right? It really has to come from a mental, internal pull. You got to have the interest or desire to pour into someone, and then stand back and give them the opportunity to fail and still be there waiting to make those adjustments so that you win the next time, or just go out there and knock it out the park and of course win. That's always the goal, right? Like no do-overs, no need for that. But yeah, I don't think, and thank you for saying I'm naturally a coach, but it's interesting because there are many labels that you get along the way as you, engage in different works for different type of organizations, or as an entrepreneur even, and so many different titles you can choose from. Yeah, I get it now. I'll say coach now, but I would have said consultant or advisor, or so you really have to take the time to understand what it is you say you are or say you want to be before you stick it on yourself, because worst thing anybody can do is misrepresent themselves or the whole discipline of any profession. So yeah, that's so important. Engage in the education.
For sure. What do you think makes or would make a great coach?
Greatness. The listening, have great communication skills. So be able to adapt to different audiences, customize when necessary. Compassion, communication, listening, patience. Patience. That should have been number one.
Yeah.
Patience.
One of those.
And a bit of a cheerleader spirit. So, yeah.
I like that one. Tell me, when you're doing a session with someone or somebody is asking you for your help or whatnot, like, how do you go about creating like a good session for them or a good environment for them to learn? How do you customize, your stuff?
So by asking them to take time to list, kind of brainstorm
Yeah.
without constraints. So without asking really direct questions, because I don't want to drive what people may automatically come to think this is the expected answer she's looking for. Like I said, in the past, or for the majority of the time, people tend to come to me with a specific goal in mind. So we're sitting down looking at, okay, this is what you want. Let's work towards achieving this specific goal. But holistically, if we're talking about an entire career development, I'm here. I don't have my very next move planned out, but I know how I would like it to look. Let's look at what options could be available to me. My process in that way is to ask them to brainstorm within themselves, to tell me where you are now. How did you end up there? Let's find out kind of what got you to where you are, and then what and why do you want to shift? So then that way I can figure out what tools do you need? Do you need additional education? Is it just simple a coaching or training program with someone like myself, or do we need to look, to a more traditional university type setting or something? But or certification process. But yeah.
I loved your concept. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying asking bunches of questions and giving them the free range to brainstorm without being so specific.
I love that concept, like brainstorm without constraint.
I love how you simplified it.
What was that?
You simplified it so much better. Brainstorm without constraint.
Oh, you said it. I didn't say it. You said it. I just wrote it down because it kind of struck me as interesting, an interesting concept.
Yes.
That is awesome. Awesome. Tell me, if you were talking to someone who's looking to become a coach, they're like starting to research these things, they're, dabbling, maybe reading the books or whatnot, what would you say to them? What do you think is the first step that they should take, to get going with this?
Well, we're definitely first, you know what? Okay, so the business of coaching is like HR is growing, or it's like very vast. There's so many different types of coaches, right? So I would say align yourself, get yourself a coach in one area, right? Could be different from the business that you plan to engage in, but get yourself a coach of some type. Doesn't have to be a top to bottom life coach or specific area career coach, but some kind of coach, whether it's extracurricular, sporting, or whatever. And pay attention to the methods that they use to drive you or to get you ready for whatever activity you get ready to engage in. That's really good. Then, of course, is so that's like the put into practice. But then, like you said, reading the books, and then not get weary in well-doing. So it's kind of what I always say. You want to be something more or something completely different, right? From which you're already engaged in. You may not always find the opportunity that to jump right into that, jump in the deep end, which is not always the best way to go anyway. So look for those little windows where you can jump in on a project or something that's close to where you want to be, not quite, but it still gives you some range of
exposure,
insight and contribution towards what you're doing. Don't be afraid to build. Don't get weary and well doing. And I think that covers it.
Do you think that a coach should be certified or not certified, or?
So as a certified HR professional, I am a proponent of certification.
Okay.
I think it lends to credibility for sure, because the institutions that require the testing, the licensing, if you will, kind of what goes with that is the expectation that you do not lead people astray with maybe something you dreamt the night before that is, could be damaging. That's what you never want to do to someone. Like, speak from which you yourself has experienced or have firsthand knowledge of someone else's experience. Again, college is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't have to go down that path. Everybody doesn't necessarily have to be certified, but when you want to represent yourself as a teacher or an advisor for something, you should have a history or foundation from which you can stand on of that you took the time to learn first. You know, you just don't, people of course are born with talents, God bless, that nobody can take away from them. But when it comes to giving advice, be it financial, human resources, career development, anything, the coaching advice that you're offering everyone, David, it didn't come out of thin air, or you didn't just, you tell me, just wake up and just say, this is what I'm going to do. It just came from your years of experience and your desire to do that. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Thank you. Sure. I appreciate it. And you are one of those people. You are a total natural, Charlita, a complete natural. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing, what your mission is, your company, you know, what you're trying to, you know, do with it. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
So, I mean, it's literally an extension of me, Credible Business Writing Services, or can I scoot over so you can see?
Yeah. Let's see your logo there.
CBW Services, my moniker, but it's all about, I don't know if you can see the lower part, your partner in preparation and presentation.
Okay.
So it's literally not changing what I've done all along as a gift or for pay for friends and family, or definitely for organizations as an HR professional. But it's providing the guidance, the advice, the know-how, how you write, how you present, how you prepare for these opportunities that you wish to engage in. So that's what CBW Service is all about: training and consulting, coaching. Yeah. Thank you. So yes.
Who's your ideal client, though, or your ideal target audience for this?
I don't want to limit myself with just saying small businesses, but my greatest success to date has been with individuals in small groups. So it's everybody from, you know, given the current climate that we're living in with the economy and everything, whether you're just an individual that is struggling with either unemployment or you have a job, but it's not fulfilling or satisfying in the sense of where you want to see in long term, or you have a staff that requires some, I don't know, office skill training. There's a whole host. And once I get my website fully updated, we'll list all of the different training courses that will be available. But ideally, initially, for the most part, it's the one-on-one clients that's looking for assistance with preparing their cover letters and resumes and their interviews, and making sure that they're properly aligned with their true aspirations.
Awesome. Where can people get in touch with you, or how can people get in touch with you?
So my email address is cbw.services@aol.com. That's the easiest way. And actually, that's the best way for right now.
Okay. Good. I'll add a link to the description down in the video. In the video, and eventually the podcast will have a description down below where people can see it. Tell me one last thing. What do you want your legacy to be?
Legacy. I love that question. And then it's also so, it's tough because it's so final. So, you know, I just want to continue to be known and regarded for how I currently am, respected for as someone who is caring, and compassionate about continuous learning and growth. And in doing that, I just want to share my experiences in such a way so that you can learn from them without having to go through the same pains, right? If you can avoid the trials, have less trials and more triumphs. Oh my goodness, that's another tingle. And what I didn't mention earlier when you was asking about the business, in doing that, I am in the process of writing a book. Whether it's published 2020 or 2021 remains to be seen in editing, but it is a part of my legacy, and it really lends itself really well to the business at hand. It is, this is not.
Let me see the cover. Let me see the cover.
It's not this is not the final, but because it's going to be more of a vacancy type design. But the title is, But Wait, There is Always More. Other Duties as Assigned plus Success Strategies. So often what you find in job postings and things that people come to me like, I want this, I know I'm qualified, I can't get in the door, help me with the right networking, or help me present myself on paper so that I can get my foot in the door, right? What people tend to not take the time to do that is so important is the alignment piece. Okay, that job looks attractive, but once you are in that organization, there is so much more expected of you than just the words on those papers. And at the end of just about every vacancy announcement is some type of language along the lines of other duties as assigned. This position is representative of someone in this, with this title. However, there will be more, so this book will be one of, I'm sure, at least two, because I'm starting with just the alphabet, the vowels, the A-E-I-O-U.
I love it.
So A is for awareness, E is emotional, I is intelligence, O is objectivity, and U is utilization. Right. So all of those are covered topics in the book of kind of introspective looking, but wait, there's always more.
Yeah.
So
now that you mention it, every contract that I ever signed, those words, obviously courtesy of the legal department, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
But that's one of people's biggest frustrations is, I signed on for this, but they're asking me for this. Can they do that? This is not right. This is not legal.
Right.
Oh, but it is. You are now representative aligned with that organization, and
sure.
There's more and more and more.
I love it. I love everything that you're doing, Charlita. You have a lot going for you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you coming, taking the time to do this interview and speak with me about your experiences and what you're doing. And, I thank you for that. Thank you.
I appreciate you so much, David. Thank you so much for having me. I can't tell you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. To those of you watching or listening, guys, let's stay safe and let's get out there and start changing lives one session at a time. Till next time, see you all later. Bye-bye.